And looks like we're live. Good
Yay.
evening, everybody. Hey, we're back. Just the one hang up. Not bad.
Sure.
All right.
All right.
Hey. Yeah, that happens.
Well, we all have
It's
hang-ups,
happened,
right?
it's happened many times in the past. It'll happen many times in the future, I'm sure. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. First of all, I'd like to welcome back Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in Hampton, New Brunswick,
Oh,
the beautiful town of Hampton, New Brunswick.
it is.
It is. Mike Powell is working tonight, paying for some more toys, we believe, anyway. So he'll be joining us again next week. We miss you, Mike. Hope you're tuning in.
Yes. And for that extra money you're making, we both want Christmas gifts.
Absolutely. And big ones. Like those ones behind you there would be nice. Okay, let's see. First of all, tonight we got another full show planned for you. We're going to start off with our What's New in Space segment again this week. In our regular new Gearbox segment, Paul is going to give us a review of his Ultimate Power Box, those devices that are behind Paul, sitting there behind him. Those are devices he's finding pretty essential to any astrophotography setup. Now, of course, too, we've heard a lot lately about the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn happening tomorrow night, and even though we may be washed out locally, we can still admire the rarity of the event, and perhaps some here tonight will have some clear skies, so we'll talk a bit about that event. And we'll compare a little bit to what they're calling the Christmas star as well in a little bit later of our talk. We're also, of course, going to have your wonderful photo submissions to share, and Paul will be back to give us another one of Rosanna's Fun Facts episodes. And of course, we'll take all your questions on stargazing, telescopes, and more. So sit back and enjoy. Remember, this is a live family-friendly broadcast. Did I say that right? Live family-friendly broadcast.
You're getting close to Turkey Day, so it may not be so family-friendly.
True enough. So if you have any questions about the night sky, we're here to help answer those for you. So let's get started, I guess, with a brief view of what's up in space this week. And let's see what's going on here. Got a lot of people joined on. Perfect. Good to see everybody. All right, give me a second here. We'll go back to my screen. I'm going to do a little present now. Entire screen. We'll go with this one. Share. And we'll go to full screen. And hold up my folder. Yeah, where's my pictures? Here we are. I think. I hear a clock ticking in the background. That's good.
That would be mine. It's loud.
It's loud.
Yeah.
All right. What's new in space this week? Let's have a look here. Make sure we're coming up on the screen here. I think we're good. Here we are. Okay. Well, lengthened to the size of a tennis court, the 5-layer sun shield of NASA's fully assembled James Webb Space Telescope successfully completed a final series of large-scale deployments and tensioning tests. This milestone puts the observatory one step closer to its launch in 2021. 1 second, I just got to open up another folder here. Bear with me. Oh, wrong folder. Hang on. We get these moments when we're live. There's my mouse. There it is. Okay. Anyway, the sun shield protects the telescope and reflects light and background heat from the sun, Earth, and Moon into space. Well, the observatory must be kept cold to accomplish groundbreaking science in infrared light, which is invisible to human eyes and felt as heat. In the sun shield's shadow, Webb's innovative technologies and sensitive infrared sensors will allow scientists to observe distant galaxies and study many other intriguing objects in the universe. Now, maintaining the sun shield's shape involves a delicate, complicated process. And during testing, engineers sent a series of commands to the spacecraft hardware that activated 139 actuators, 8 motors, and thousands of other components to unfold and stretch the 5 membranes of the sun shield into its final taut shape. A challenging part of the test is to unfold the sun shield in Earth's gravity environment, which causes friction, unlike unfolding the material in space without the effects of gravity. 1 second. What happened was my photos didn't get in order here, so that's unfortunate. Might still be okay though. During testing, engineers sent a series of commands to spacecraft hardware that activated 139 actuators, 8 motors, and thousands of other components to unfold and stretch the 5 membranes of the sun shield into its final shape. For launch, the sun shield would be folded up around 2 sides of the observatory and placed in an Ariane 5 launch vehicle, which is provided by the European Space Agency. Now, the sun shield divides the observatory into a warm, sun-facing side, about 185 degrees Fahrenheit, and a cold, space-facing side, minus 388 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow, that's quite a difference.
It is.
The sun shield will protect the observatory's optics and sensors so that they remain extremely cold temperatures to conduct science. Webb has passed other rigorous deployment tests during its development, and find my other picture here. Didn't have these quite in the order I was hoping for. Webb has passed other rigorous development tests during its development, which successfully uncovered and resolved technical issues within the spacecraft. Now, these tests validated that once in orbit, the observatory and its many redundant systems will function flawlessly. Let's hope, because that's supposed to be launched in 2021. That'd be kind of cool. See that going up.
Oh my goodness.
And where are my other pictures? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, here we go. Okay. As Chile and Argentina witnessed a total solar eclipse on December the 14th, 2020, unbeknownst to sky watchers, a little tiny speck was flying past the sun. A recently discovered comet. The comet was first spotted in satellite data by Thai amateur astronomer on NASA-funded Sun Grazer project, a citizen science project that invites anyone to search for and discover new comets in images from the joint European Space Agency and NASA's Solar and Heliosphere Observatory, or SOHO. I gotta start looking for notes that are easier to read. The comet, named C2020X3 SOHO by the Minor Planet Center, is a Kreutz sun grazer. This family of comets originated from a large parent comet that broke up into smaller fragments well over 1,000 years ago and continues to orbit the sun today. Did I have another one? That was it there, yeah. Kreutz sun-grazing comets are most commonly found in SOHO images. SOHO's cameras works by mimicking the total solar eclipse. A solid, occulting disk blocks out the otherwise blinding light of the sun, revealing dimmer features in its outer atmosphere and other celestial objects like comets. To date, 4,108 comets have been discovered in SOHO images, with this comet being the 3,524th Kreutz sun grazer spotted. So these ones just graze the sun. Pretty cool.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
They found 4,000 comets. Awesome.
Wow.
And finally, I guess we'll only get a few stories here tonight. Let's get into this one. Flat Earthers are planning an Antarctic expedition to the edge of the world. Get your leather-lined tinfoil headgear at the ready. A crew of prominent Flat Earthers are reportedly interested in going on an expedition to Antarctica, hoping to reveal the true nature of our planet once and for all. As reported by Forbes, prominent Flat Earthers are showing interest in a trek across, or at least towards, Antarctica. How they plan to go about this is not clear yet, but the pipe dream looks to address one of the great totems of the Flat Earth theory. What's the deal with the South Pole? If we can get to the coast of Antarctica and sail all the way around it, we will get to the distance that will prove it's the outer edges of flat Earth and refute entirely every single argument anyone can possibly try to pitch for sun-worshipping cult of heliocentrism, said Jay Descopy, a prominent Flat Earther. However, as the flat earthers are all too aware, the Antarctic Treaty of 1961 could make this very difficult. The main purpose of the international treaty is to deny any claim of territorial sovereignty in Antarctica. However, flat earthers argue it strongly restricts the private exploration of the area. That said, the treaty does stipulate that the area should have freedom of science and investigation. Whether or not this stuff can be defined as science, however, is another question. The nature of Antarctica is a constant bugbear for flat earthers. The Flat Earth Society explained on their website that along the edge of our local area exists a massive 150-foot ice wall. The ice wall is a massive wall of ice that surrounds Antarctica. Now, the shelf of ice is several hundred meters thick, they say. The purpose of this wall, so the theory goes, is to obstruct explorers from passing beyond. It almost goes without saying that Antarctica has been widely explored for over a century, and many people have crossed it. On December the 14th, 1911, an expedition team led by the Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen became the first people to reach the geographic South Pole, beating a rival British party led by Robert Falcon Scott over a month. The feat has been since completed by dozens of expedition teams from across the globe. Now, you might remember the recently planned to have a flat Earth cruise across the world's oceans in 2020. This more modest plan is apparently already in the works, according to Flat Earth Meeting, so stay tuned. So I love this one. The Flat Earth Society has members all around the globe. Guys, say that again, but slowly.
I hear a lot of them are living on the edge, but anyway.
And that's what we got to say about space this week. And I want to be sure I don't close it us. One more. And there. Ooh.
All right. That's fair.
We're back.
Well, there.
Yeah.
It's really interesting about that telescope. I'm excited to see that get up there because what it's going to do, its capabilities, I should say, are so much more than what Hubble's are.
Yeah.
It's just going to be absolutely amazing to see what that actually sends back to Earth.
They say they'll be able to see pretty close to the Big Bang, back that far.
That's going to be unbelievable.
So, but the whole thing is it's got to set out to it's called an Lagrange point 1, I believe it is. So it's like 1 million miles from Earth is where it's going to be sitting. Mm-hmm. So they have to be sure that it's all going to open up properly before they launch it up, because they can't get up there to do a repair mission like they could with Hubble, right? So, yeah.
Right.
So, should be interesting. Let's hope it goes up in 2020. There's been a lot of holds on it. It's cost a few $1 billion more than what the original plan was. I think it's up to about $9 billion or something now. So, it's just a crazy number. But.
Well, I think everybody's optimistic about it. The trouble with a lot of this stuff is the budget's been cut back so much.
Yeah.
With all of these things, that when they run into a snag, it's like, well, where's the priority, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's government too, right? So it's always going to take longer.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you're up, Mr. Paul.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to be handling this week's installment of the Gearbox. So let me see if I cannot make that happen. Make it so, number one. All right, so.
This week's Gearbox.
I will do that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. All right. And the Gearbox. The Sunday Night Astronomy Show's toolbox to all the fun you can possibly have in astronomy. And the Gearbox this week, as it is every other week, is sponsored and brought to you by Lear La Nature, Astronomy Plus. For all of your astronomy needs in Longueuil, Quebec, visit Lear La Nature. Okay, so this week, I'm going to talk to you about a product that I talked to you about before, and now I used it for over a year, and it's called the Pegasus Ultimate Power Box version 2. And basically what the power box is, for those who aren't familiar, it's a data and a power distribution center that you would put on your telescope to eliminate a lot of things. And I'll get into all that in just a moment. But I must say, first of all, that this particular product is relatively expensive at first glance. And but once you start, and I'll show you a little bit here, I'll do a little math and show you exactly what the actual cost of this thing is. And it's actually very, very reasonable when you just compare cost and features of this device versus one that you build yourself. That's one aspect of it. And then it's what are the capabilities of this thing versus a system that you build yourself. And it's and I think that's where the the rubber meets the road there. So all right, so let's get into this. So basically what the Ultimate Power Box does, in actual fact, Pegasus put out a series of these. They first started out with what they call the Power Box. And that was quite a few years ago now, probably 3 or 4 years ago. And it was just a little tiny device that instead of you having all these power wires hanging off your rig, it was just designed to supply power to all the things that are on your telescope that require power without having to run extension cords and all this other stuff up. It was designed to clean up all that clutter. That's what it was designed to do. And then they come out with the rig that I'm showing you here now, which is the Ultimate Power Box. And then last year they come out with the Power Box Advance, and which is one that's sort of right in the middle between this device and their entry-level device. So there's now a Power Box available for all budgets, which is really, really nice. But looking at this photograph, you can see that what the Power Box gives you is the ability to run power, first of all, to all of your cameras, to if you're using automated focusing systems, if you're using filter wheels and all of these things, rather than you having to do, to run in separate power to it, this box is designed to power up all of those things. In fact, you can get up to 20 amps of power out of this one box, which that's a lot of power when you're talking DC products. That typically is what you're running. So it allows you to do that, and at the same time, it comes with its own standalone software, so that when you're not only are you operating everything through this box, but you can actually go right to the box's software and make adjustments on it, turn things on, turn things off, check temperature, humidity levels. You can do all of these things through the interface that comes with this. So that's basically its job, is to give you a nice, tidy data and power distribution center. And let me see, where's the arrow going here now? There we go. Okay, so what you're seeing here is all the things that the Power Box replaces. And the first thing you're going to get rid of is, if you look at that Orion box up there, that's the dew heater. If you're in the Maritimes and you're not in the desert, you are going to need a dew heater. Whether you're observing or whether you're imaging, you need dew control. So, but the Ultimate Power Box has one of those built right into it. So you eliminate that. The second thing you're going to eliminate is this device right here. This device right here is basically the power distribution center. Some people call it a rig runner. And basically what you see here are just fuses for each one of the components that you have to power through here. Beside it is another box, which is a distribution box for your data. So for your cameras, your guide scope, for your filter wheel, anything that require USB, your focuser, all of those things that require USB, your mount, all of those things have to get into the data here. So so it replaces that. If you have a focuser, that's a powered one, motorized focuser, then you have to have power and a control box for it. Well, with this Ultimate Power Box, not the Advanced and not the regular Power Box, only the Ultimate Power Box allows you to operate focusers that are not Pegasus. Because on the Advanced Power Box, you can operate a Pegasus only focuser. But if you're using Moonlight or any other of the focusers out there that require power, a Rigel, so on, the power box can run it. So you can get rid of that. Then, on top of all of that, all of these extension cords and power supplies, you can throw them all out because you don't need them anymore, because the ultimate power box comes with all the little cables that you need to hook it up to each and every one of the other power devices. So when I was making my own, I never had a whole bunch of these cables there. So what I would end up doing is cutting off the end of the device that plugs into whatever item I was using, and then I had to solder that onto a cable that I had to make so that I could plug it into the data side and the other side, or not the data side, but the power side. So all those cables you see on the side there, the black ones and all that, it eliminates all of that. So it eliminates everything that you see there, which is an awful lot of gear to have on your telescope. So basically, this is what a telescope would look like with a data distribution box on one side. Then your do controller is up here. Now, these are the things that we're getting rid of, right? And this thing right here is my controller to run my motor focuser, which is back here. And then I have to use a serial cable for it. And then I have to use a power cable and a USB cable. So there's tons of cables just on that one device. And you do that times 3 or 4, it's unbelievable how much space you can free up. On the other side is all of the power. So on this side, you can see all the cables that I had to actually, and if you're not good with a solder gun and you don't know what's red or black, you can blow things up pretty quick. So you have to be pretty, pretty savvy when it comes to, putting all this stuff together that way. So you have to make up all the cables. So anyway, all that side of the scope right there is the power distribution. So you're eliminating that. And then on the top, again, like so there's what you got on top of this telescope. So it's hard to believe there's a telescope in there, isn't it? You got all this stuff all around this thing. The telescope is buried. Where'd it go? And never mind that, how much weight are you putting on top of your scope, and how much more you're taxing your mount with the weight of all these devices up there. And it's not just the devices. In order to get all those devices there, you have to add some Los Mandy bars to mount it all to. So you're putting a lot of weight and a lot of demand on your mount, besides all the electronics that you're getting rid of. So with the power box up there, you can see that now all that's there is the power box. You have to have your guide scope, and that's it. Everything else that you saw on that telescope is gone, other than those two things on the very top. So on this side, where it used to be the power distribution, it's just basically plugs, because the power distribution is built in. And then on this side is the data distribution, which used to have a data box. It's gone because it's all plugged in. You'll notice that there's no more dew heater controller because it's built in. And the motor controller for the Moonlight focuser is built in. So everything is built into that one box. So we've eliminated a whack of stuff. That's just for cable and data or cable management. That's a big convenience, but it doesn't stop there. Excuse me. So again, there's just the power side of the power box, where again there's 4 12-volt power supplies that are smart power supplies. So basically, they'll sense what's in like the voltage that's required for each and every one of your devices, which typically are 12 volts. And then the amperage, it knows what it needs. But each one of those devices are also tunable. So you can tune them. If you've got a device that requires 8 volts or 9 volts instead of 12, you can tune each one of those to whatever the required voltage is, which is really nice. And basically, there it is there. So you have 4 12-volt supplies, as you can see there. You can run 2 or 3 dew heaters, or 2 dew heaters. And if you want to run, for those who don't know what a light box is, it's just something that you need to take flat frames. If you have one, you can actually plug one in and run it from there. On the other side, you've got 6 different USB controls you can plug into that, 2 of which are 2.0 and 4 of which are 3.0. So there's, so it's got the latest USB capabilities on it, because a lot of the cameras today are now USB 3, and the computers that you're running are USB 3. And that's important to keep in mind, because if you're doing any planetary type of work and you've got a camera that will image planets and stuff, you're shooting at very, very high, fast frame rates. And you want to have the capability to be able to transfer that frame rate into your computer from your device. And if you're using 2.0, you're slowing it down amazingly. But when you put on that 3.0, the transfer rate is so fast that you can get these long stretches of video frames you want in a very short period of time, which again is less demand on your mount, right? Keeps everything tracking much, much better. So this is a small telescope. This is the one I have right behind me. So you can see, you can't even hardly see a telescope in there, but look at all the stuff that's on it. It's just unbelievable. So that's the one that you see behind me before I get all cabled up. So there's, on this side is the power distribution, where everything is labeled. Everything is hardwired in. And again, it's these what they call Anderson power poles. So they're very nice to use. Once you click them in, they are very, very good to use. But they're a little bit of a bugger to solder together, because they're so accurate in terms of how they fit and snug up that your soldering has to be very good to make them work properly. So anyway, so you're getting rid of all that. You're getting rid of all the data, which is all on this side, and all of that stuff that's on top. And once you put it together, you can see your telescope again. This is the interface that goes with it, and basically on it you can control your focuser right from here. It's got power graphs, so if you want to see how much power is being drawn, when the dew heaters are coming on, how much is going up, going down. There's graphs for your dew points. You can watch the dew point drop, humidity go up, or whatever the case being, so you know exactly when your heaters need to come on. And here's the other thing about speaking of the dew heaters. The dew heaters are right here, and these ones are run by what they call auto dew. So it will only draw the current that's required. So if all of a sudden you're going from a really dry night and then the dew just kicks in, with your other devices, if you're running batteries, you're going to run them on probably medium. You'll probably have a favorite place you want to put your dew heaters. The trouble is lots of times you're eating up your battery power to keep those dew heaters going when it's not even necessary. So when you put these on auto dew, the dew heaters will only kick in when they're needed, and only how much is needed when they're used. So that's actually an ingenious design for them to do. Or you can actually turn that off, the auto dew, and you can run them manually if you want to. Excuse me. What else this has that I really like, Mike Powell, who's with us typically, he has an observatory. Our friend Emil in Moncton has one. Tim, there's a lot of people have observatories in their backyard. And the whole point behind this the power box, it's designed for remote observatories. So let's say I've got something going on out in the observatory and then something kicks off. Well, typically what I would have to do before, if I'm using this whole rig that you see, well, you can't see me, sorry. Actually, I don't know if there's anything else for me to show here. Can you unpin me, Chris? Or do I just do that? I'll stop presenting.
There we go.
There we go, okay.
You were up anyway, Paul. You were up.
Okay.
You're up good size anyway in the screen.
Okay, so what I was getting at is if something happens where one of your USB cables has to be reset, lots of times what you have to do is you got to go out there, unplug it, and then plug it back in, and then that will reset that particular thing. But if you've got a remote observatory that's miles away and you're running it from your house, you can't do that. That's an inconvenience you don't want to experience. So with the power box, what you can do with this one here, basically is in that software, if something's not functioning right, I've got the ability to A, turn the power off and on to that particular item if it doesn't do what I need to do, and B, it can also turn the USB data switch off and on to do the same thing as going out there and physically taking that cable out and putting it back in again to reset, the lost driver connection or whatever's going on. I can do all of those things right from that interface, which is really nice. What else I like about it is the reliability. I've had it for a year now, and it has not ever once failed me. These ones over here, you got to be careful of a lot of things because you're building this thing and putting it all together, but it's not necessarily designed to be used in cold and hot and damp environments. Where this thing is designed, it's all got industrial USB connections in there. It'll never allow you to short circuit anything because it's got short circuit detection built into all of it. So if something happens, if something looks like it's going to short on you, the power box will actually shut it down and it'll let you know what it shut down. And because there's all kinds of light indicators and all that stuff that goes on with the interface. So it's actually quite a device that I can't speak enough about. I mean, if we got into technical data on it, I could get into it for hours with you. But the main thing is it cleans up all of this stuff. You don't have to put and build anything. It's all put together for you. If you have a focuser like I do on this one, mine's a Moonlight, and there is a very specific cable that you have to get from your focuser to the power box, and they supply all that. So if you need one for a Rigel focuser or the Moonlight focuser, just tell them what focuser you have so that you get the proper cable. Excuse me. It also operates and powers my mount. I bought a new EQ6R, which is actually run by USB now. So I just pop it right in there. I mean, it's just so simple. It's unbelievable. And it cleans everything up. It reduces weight. It's reliable. It's safe. And I can't recommend enough. In fact, I like it so much that I bought this one, which is the second one. So I've got one in my inventory, in my observatory, and now I've got this one. I was talking to you a little bit earlier about price, and I'll talk to you about that because a lot of people are probably wondering, well, this miraculous device, it must be a lot of money. Well, in fact, it's a little bit of money initially to buy, but from all the things that I showed you, remember on that table of all the parts I said it's going to replace? By the time you buy all those distribution pieces, the power side, the data side, all the little connectors, all the wires, all the soldering stuff you got to buy to put it all together. Then you got to buy your dew heater, and then you got to buy. If with Moonlight, you can buy that motor controller as an option. And so if you add all that stuff up and buy it that way, it's actually more expensive to buy it like that, and a whole lot more trouble to go through, and a whole lot more fuss than by just buying this one device here. Now, these devices in Canada go for around $800. That's the price of them. It may sound like a lot initially when you think about it, but when you start piecemealing this all together, and I did it before, I took the pencil out, the calculator, worked it all out, this actually cost me a little bit more money. So for the convenience, the safety, the interface, the smart technology, and also with this, they have a port in it so that down the road, as things progress, it's actually upgradable. They send you updates, so you can actually update the software all the time. So once you buy that box, it's current for a very, very, very long time. So that's pretty much my spiel on the Pegasus Ultimate Power Box version 2.
Awesome, Paul.
Okay, was any questions on that, or?
We do have a couple, I think. Just a second here.
Okay.
I had one here. Alan Birch has asked, would the ASI Air Pro be a similar product?
Mm-hmm. The Air is more of a product that's designed to automate and remote operate things. The Power Box puts it all together, but you're still, if you want to say operate your system, you're still going to need separate guide software like PhD2 to run your guiding. You're still going to need acquisition software to get your data and stuff. What the Air does, it just kind of takes all that stuff and puts it into one box, one interface. So basically the Air is like a little computer you put on your telescope. And then if you want to run all of your software through that device, like on your smartphone or an iPhone or an iPad or that kind of stuff, you can go outside and run the Air. And a lot of people are using those for outreach, because they can say, okay, well, what product or what thing do you want to see? So it's got a planetarium built right into it. so you can actually point it to wherever you want to go in the sky. That's kind of what the air does, but this device here is more of a distribution center for power and data, and it keeps it all, and it tidies up all your cables and all that stuff. So so they're similar but different.
Okay. And hang on a second here, find out what happened here. We're still there.
I'm still here.
Yeah, okay. I just lost my feed again for whatever reason. Mike asked if does it always point, will it work if it pointed just to Cygnus?
It's the ultimate power box Cygnus version. I get the Cygnus version. I think Chris wants to get the Leo version.
That's what we'd always like to have. At least have the option, right?
Exactly. All right, let's go.
Okay.
Is there any more questions, or?
I think that's all the questions we have.
Okay, let me just share my screen one more time.
Okay.
And so that was this week's version of the Gearbox, and that was brought to you by Lear Nature, which is now Astronomy Plus. Astronomy Plus for all of your astronomy needs, and you can find the good folks of Astronomy Plus at Longueuil, Quebec. And that was this week's version of, and I can almost got it down, I almost do. And I had to find a button. There it is. And that's this week's version of the Gearbox.
Awesome.
Oh, one sec.
There we go. Forgot the tune. Catchy. Hey, that works. Perfect. Alan says perfect. Thanks. And Mike laughs out loud. Yeah, okay. And Renat says, are sun grazers coming or going? Well, actually, they're both, I think. Sun grazers are usually coming around the sun and going back towards us. Going around the sun and come back towards us. That'll work. Anyway, okay, perfect. I'm just watching the live feed here. I can see that it is working on Facebook because I got my phone here, so I'm watching on my phone instead. But it's kind of solid for me here on the screen again. For whatever reason, Facebook keeps doing that, just to tickle my bones, I guess. Anyway, we're back.
There we go. Sorry, I was pinned.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so now we're going to go to, I guess we'll go to photo submissions next, Paul.
All right.
And we got some nice photos that came in this week. Let me get my folder here opened. I'll share my screen. And just want to get out of this. So we did get a few photos in this week. Some of them I actually captured from my Facebook page as well, but that's okay. We'll take them. We like all the photos. Get this one here first of all from Bruce Kasuji. Make sure we're coming up here. Are we up on? Yep. Watching to see if we're up on Facebook here. Coming up on YouTube. There we go. Okay. Just being sure. All right. Bruce says, here's a photo that I took last week. I was interested in the background on the connection between the Japanese name Subaru and Pleiades. And he says, here's what I found. Subaru is a Japanese name for the Pleiades star cluster. The word Subaru means united in Japanese. The Subaru, the car company, is one of 5 companies that merged to create Fuji Heavy Industries. The logo depicts these 5 unified along with the parent company, just as the Japanese described how the Pleiades is a unification of stars. Cheers, Bruce. And he says, P.S. Thanks for all the fun Sunday evenings. Chicken coop salute to both of you, or each of you, and Rosanna too. And back to you again, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
I appreciate that. Okay, let's get up next there. Next up, we get this photo from Trudy Allman.
Wow,
nice, eh? Nice shot of the crescent, waxing crescent there, and Jupiter and Saturn, of course, getting close in on conjunction. We've got a few of those actually tonight. Got another one here from Trudy. This is actually Jupiter and some of its moons and Saturn, which we can see in our next shot. There they are identified.
Oh, nice.
So nice capture.
Nice.
Nice captures, Trudy. Very nice.
What's the little star?
The little star?
Going way down the bottom.
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm not sure. Hard to tell. Her sky's down there. Could be anything.
Was a good name. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I'm just teasing. Just pulling your chain, Freddie.
Okay. David Samard got this one. It looks like a capture too. He said they were getting a bit closer, so almost. He said almost able to focus. Here he's got one of the crescent and another one of the crescent. So, nice captures.
Very nice.
Always like getting those. Thanks, David. And Marianne Mitten sent this one in with the crescent and Jupiter, Saturn again. So we've got lots of these little captures. People wrote the other night when we had a clear sky to get these captures, and these are probably one of the ones these are probably the only ones you're going to get right at the moment, just because of.
You know what I've noticed on those shots
Mm-hmm.
is when you look at the difference in brightness between Jupiter and Saturn.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit of a balancing act that when you do, if you are fortunate enough to be able to image these things close up, it's going to be a bit of a balancing act to be able to get Saturn as bright as, or it gets Jupiter down to where you can see detail and not totally wipe Saturn off the thing.
Right.
There's a guy named Chuck Ayub out of Detroit, and he did one this week because now he can take a C8 with a focal reducer and get both of them into the field of view, and he did it. And he was experimenting with his camera to make sure that he could, in fact, when he was ready to record them, to be able to get Saturn and Jupiter. So what he's going to end up doing is taking a series of images with Jupiter and a series of images with Saturn and just superimpose them so that you be able to detail on both, because that's really about the only way if to be able to make them that even in brightness.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but I just decided to point that out for those who may want to try to do that and just maybe go out and take one or two or three quick shots. You may be disappointed. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I've seen that many times myself. When you try to get Saturn, or if you try to get Jupiter with any detail, and you want to get the moons, you can't do it because you've got to overexpose Jupiter to get the moons of Jupiter as well. But yeah, the same thing here, because Jupiter's the fourth brightest object in the sky at any time. So you have the sun, the moon, Venus, and Jupiter, and Saturn is quite a ways down the list there. So it's, I think Jupiter's around a -2 or something right now, and Saturn's about a plus +1 or +0.3 or something like that. So the magnitude difference is quite a bit. So yeah. You can't seem to get both of them. You'll have a blown out Saturn and a nice Jupiter, or the other way around, a nice Saturn and you won't be able to visualize Jupiter at all. So
yeah.
But still nice to get the two of them in the eyepiece at the same
Oh
time.
no, yeah. The shots like this, it doesn't matter because you can still see them.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was on a clear night, obviously.
Emil commented on something on the other day, or I think it was today, I think, and he said, he said you can count on the clouds being in conjunction with the planet.
Yeah, always the way. There must be something happening in the sky, because we've had cloudy skies for a bit now. And this one was also, I believe, from David. Is it true? No, that's from Jeremiah Harding. So you did get the two of them in the eyepiece. Jeremiah, I think, was the one who mentioned about the reflector telescope, that he could almost get them focused. But
isn't that something?
You can see Saturn just oblong kind of a shape, and there's Jupiter.
Yep.
A lot brighter, but yeah.
He must have been right on the edge of it, eh?
He must have been, yeah. Here we got another one from, let me see who this one is from. This is from Nellick O'Carney. No, it's not. It's from right up the top. Bill Go, yeah, there we go. Got the name right up the top. Yeah, Bill sent this one in for us.
Nice. Those crescent moons, you can never see enough of them, eh?
It's always beautiful. Best phase, I think. Well, I like all the phases, I guess, but there's a nice crescent with Jupiter and Saturn as well. And that's over. That's from Sharon Peabody over Darling's Island.
Beautiful.
Really nice. And we've got this one from Wayne Mullet. Isn't that a nice capture?
Oh, that's the Market Square?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Harvard Bridge?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what a beautiful shot.
Yeah, and the bridge in the shot. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
Great job, Wayne. A little close up.
Closer version, yeah.
So nice to see the two of them that close together, though.
Oh
Awesome.
my goodness.
And this one's from Nella Carney. So got a lot of these submitted to the page. People were capturing them and sending them in. It was great to see all these photos coming in without asking for photos like in a contest. People were just submitting them anyway, which is awesome.
But you know, every one of these shots that are coming through, you know, for us, we're looking at them and we're getting the sort of the same perspective because that's what's in the sky.
Exactly.
But can you imagine the thrill of each person that's doing this is saying, "Wow, you know."
Yeah, awesome.
Look at the picture I just took and look what it is, you know.
That's what it's all about.
I can feel, you know, what they're feeling when they take that shot.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about right there.
Yeah.
I hit another one here. Hang on. I don't know where my notes went. I had some notes here from Lisa. I lost my notes. I only printed 2 pages out of 3 here. This one is from Lisa. So Lisa mentioned that she was enjoying the show, and she sent us this one in, which is a composite capture over different nights. So she has been very fortunate to have some skies that she's been able to catch at these many nights. So
what a nice illustration of the closer approaches, eh?
What a nice memory, to have.
Oh my goodness,
that's
amazing.
The 5th, the 8th, the 10th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 17th, and 18th. Well, she's had a lot of clear sky. She's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't think I have her notes. Oh, I had them, but anyway, it's Lisa Ann Fanning. She's on here usually. Yeah, she is. I think she's on here tonight, actually.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Yep. So great shots there, Lisa. Awesome to
I
have
can't
that.
wait to see the same thing. Hopefully she'll have clear skies maybe tomorrow or even a couple of nights after because you still be able to get a little closer than what we got on the 18th, right?
There, I just found my page of notes.
Oh,
hey, gathered in all. So Lisa says, hi, Chris. Thanks for the shout out last week. Love your show. It's one of the highlights of my week. Oh, you gotta. Oh, this is one of your highlights of your week. You have to have a better weeks. you need a better life, Lisa. Anyway, guys are all great together. Clouded out in central New Jersey tonight and possibly tomorrow, so I decided to revisit the progress of the Great Conjunction since the beginning of the month, taken with an iPhone 11 through a birding 65 millimeter scope at 20 times magnification to show the consistent relative placement. Why a spotting scope, she says. I come from a birding background, and many of my birder friends are turning to the night skies during the pandemic, so I want to prove that astronomy is for everyone, and they can use the equipment they already have. So, great idea.
Perfect.
Very nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm going to go back one here just to make sure, because I got the notes back again. Yves St. Germain sent this one, said this was the last clear sky to see 2 planets getting closer. Nice to have the waxing crescent along. And this is from Miramichi. So thank you, Wayne, Yves, for that one as well. There. I think that's all of our photo submissions for this week. If there were any others, I shall hang on to them for next week because we love to show them each week, of course. But that's one there. You want to get that one framed, Lisa, for sure.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I can't wait to see it when she's completed with it.
Yeah.
Because then she'll probably start showing too how they start drifting apart again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it too. We are going to get time. Like even if we don't have a clear sky tomorrow night, which a lot of us aren't going to have, we accept the fact that that's going to happen because it's an astronomy event. It's an astronomical event, so we don't get clear sky. But maybe we should be in New Mexico or something like that. But the fact is that if you don't get a chance to see it tomorrow night, don't get perturbed by it because we're still going to have an opportunity for the next week or so, actually right into, I think, about mid-January before they actually set so far in the southwest early that we won't be able to catch them. But we've got I think it's a couple of weeks before they'll disappear from our point of view for this time of year anyway. So we still got some time. So we still have them in the same field of view for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for all those photo submissions.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
It's nice that, you can get this kind of unity, with these events.
Yeah.
It's something everybody can enjoy. And I was just sitting here looking at all the submissions, and I was thinking, well, here's Lisa in New Jersey, then we're getting some people, sometimes in Ontario. West, we have a fellow from where was that earlier?
There's a
joined us.
There's a guy from Athens, Greece, on here with us tonight.
Greece, and we're all here enjoying the same thing,
Yeah.
So it's just so nice the brotherhood that comes along with this.
Yeah,
Should say.
It's the same thing when you're looking at the moon. Like if I offer the moon on a live feed or whatever, I'm usually thinking I'm watching the names pop up, but I'm still thinking about parts of my family in the other end of the country kind of thing. Are they're watching the same moon as I am at the same time.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings everybody back together again when you see kind of year that we've had here. You kind of start to think, okay, well we're all going through this together. So it does put that in perspective for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's our photo submissions. We're going to go to a Rosanna segment, I guess, next. Paul, are we?
Oh, okay. Well, let's see if I can pull this one off.
I'm sure you can.
Oh, well, we're going to see. I'm just going to find the segment like I did. Remember last week I couldn't find the segment?
Yeah, I remember. I usually forget about that stuff.
Oh, well, I'm doing this on that same week. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's see if we can do this again. So I'm going to present my screen. Higher screen. And get ready for. Uh-oh.
Where's the music?
I know what happened. I got this thing that
I got this thing going on.
I got this thing going on.
Yeah, it's called a program. It's called a show, Paul.
Me and Mr. Jones, can I have those?
I'll take it. Hey, there we go. This week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Awesome.
All right.
It's
Hello, Rosanna.
There we
now,
go.
let me find out where the information went. There we go, and I'll get back. Okay, so this week's Rosanna's Fun Fact, as it always is very, very timely. And what I'm really going to like about this one is this actually Christmas time. We're so close to Christmas. And so Rosanna is going to talk to us a little bit about Christmas. So she says, hi, Paul. The excitement is building as there are hopes for clear skies for the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction tomorrow. For children, excitement is building as well as we head toward the holiday fun and no school. As visuals begins, we love lights in the sky. Now, daily as we drive by our neighbor houses, our heads turn to catch a glimpse of the Christmas tree in the window. There's also a Christmas tree in the sky you can now view, the Christmas tree cluster. Now I'm going to see if my slides work. Woohoo, look at that. The Christmas tree cluster in the tree window is you can view. The Christmas tree cluster is found in the constellation Monoceros, which is a difficult constellation to pinpoint due to its lack of colossal stars. But I'm going to show you where it is in a minute. This well-done video, and this video, by the way, I'm not going to play it because I'm going to do it for you because this video is too long, is your friend Dave Fuller, the guy who built the little stand for your the night sky guy that you
oh,
watch.
yeah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I'll send you that link. It's like one of his. Anyway, so he takes you there step by step in a starry journey all the way to show you how to find, with binoculars, this particular Christmas tree cluster. Now, before I take you there, what you're looking at is two things that are going on. You're looking at the Cone Nebula, which is this device down here. And then you're also looking at what they call the Christmas tree cluster. Now, it may not be apparent to you when you're looking at it quickly like this, but let me draw it for you. First of all, I'm going to flip it upside down. Okay, so now this really bright star right here, consider that the base of your tree where you put all your gifts. Here's the shape of the tree, go right up to the cone, and there's the star on top of the tree, and there's the rest of the tree. So can you see the shape of the Christmas tree?
Mm-hmm.
I sure can. And when you look at it with a pair of binoculars, you're not going to see all these wonderful colors because you have to do deep sky photography to get the colors. But you will get all the stars in that formation, and it will look like a Christmas tree. Now, let me show you. I'm going to try to show you where to find it. And it's actually quite simple. If you have Stellarium, and let me just, oops, search just for a moment. Just bear with me, because it's an easy one to find when you know where to look. Everybody knows where Orion is, right? So Orion is in our eastern sky right now. And so if you look at Orion, you're going to see some of its bright stars. Betelgeuse is really, really easy to find. It's right there. And then there's Rigel. So basically, those are the bright stars in Orion. If you look right straight across, you're going to run into Gemini, the twins. So basically, Castor and Pollux are the main stars. But if you look at the shape of those constellations, it looks like two people walking side by side. So go down to the feet of the one of the twins that are in that has Pollux as the alpha star, and then you just go down to from here down to this area right there. Now let me blow that up bigger. Whoops, there we go. And there's that Alzir, which is the name of that star. Again, that's on the very bottom when you find the twins, and then the distance between Alzir and that star is 14 degrees. So that's about 2 binocular widths, because you've got about, I think it's about a 7-degree width in a binocular, if my memory's any good. So, so you look about 2 binocular widths over, and then you're going to see, you will see this actual Christmas tree. Again, you're not going to see the colors like you see here, but you will see that formation. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's just one of those clusters, and it's so fantastic. And so again, to find it, it's very, very simple. Look for Orion, and then look to the left of Orion. You'll see Castor and Pollux, and then look for the feet of Pollux down to the bottom, and then 2 binocular widths over, about 14 degrees, and you'll go right into there. And depending on what you're using for magnification, you'll be able to put all of that, certainly in a pair of binoculars. You'll be able to see it certainly in a small telescope. I looked at it for the first time in a little 6-inch refractor or 5-inch reflector, and it was just so glorious to look at. I couldn't stop looking at it for a while. So that's it. So that's the Christmas tree cluster. And let me just get back to the notes now. So remember when you see, whoops, wrong way. Remember, when you see the Christmas right side up or upside down will depend on the type of scope you have, or perhaps on the mount or eggnog that you just drank. So the Christmas tree cluster and the Cone Nebula were discovered by William Herschel in January 1874 and December 26, 1875, respectively. So your holidays may be tremendous. May your holidays be tremendous to each and every one. Rosanna says, have a tremendous Merry Christmas.
Awesome.
And, yeah. And
Thanks,
so, folks, let me just see if I can pull this off here to finish it up correctly. And that is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey, awesome.
Yeah, awesome fun fact as usual.
As usual. Thanks, Rosanna. Appreciate that. Tremendous.
Tremendous.
Tremendous. Well, we're out of time. We're at 9 o'clock.
Oh my goodness, where'd it go?
So we're not going to be talking too much about the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction tonight, but I only had a few.
Actually, would you be able to just show what it's going to look? Because some people would just want to see what it would look like.
Sure. Okay. Let me see if I can bring that up. Well, I'll quickly go through it then. Let me find it. Let me present my screen. Okay, and I just got to let's go. beginning. Can we see that?
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking about the Great Conjunction. The solar system, of course, two gas giant planets have been edging closer together in recent months, and on Monday, tomorrow, they'll be less than a degree apart in the night sky. And the Great Conjunction of 2020 will be visible from all over the world. And so what is a conjunction? First of all, conjunction is when two objects appear to be at the same right ascension. So right ascensions go this direction, across this way. So they would appear to be in the same location in our night sky. Now, Jupiter and Saturn won't be close at all, really. In fact, on that date, which also happens to be the date of the December winter solstice, Saturn will be about twice as far away from Earth as Jupiter will be. So Saturn will be about 1.73 billion kilometers from the Sun, and Jupiter is 936 million kilometers from the Sun. But of course, to our naked eye, they'll appear in the same line of sight. We all get to witness clear skies allowing the closest planetary conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that most of us are ever going to see in our lifetime. And Saturn and Jupiter appear to pass close to each other as seen from Earth about every 20 years or so. And when they do, they call it the Great Conjunction. So it takes Jupiter about 11.85 years to orbit the Sun. It takes Saturn about 29 years to orbit the Sun. So about every 19.85 years, they catch up. Jupiter catches up to Saturn, and that's when we get the conjunction. Of course, conjunctions can happen too with the Moon and Mars, the Moon and Venus, Venus and Mars together. There are other conjunctions, but this one's called the Great Conjunction because they're the largest planets. The last one actually occurred in 28th of May of 2000, and as we can see here, it was almost impossible to view because it occurred while the two planets were just 14.9 degrees west of the Sun from our point of view. So the spectacle was largely lost in the Sun's glare last time around. And how rare is the 2020 Great Conjunction? Well, historically speaking, this is more than just once in a lifetime opportunity. The last time Jupiter and Saturn were this close together was on July the 16th of 1623. Though that occurred just 13 degrees east of the Sun, so almost certainly nobody saw it. Though the telescope had recently been invented, and Galileo had spun his telescope towards Jupiter just about 14 years before this. So, but not too many people had telescopes at that time to pick them out of the daytime sky. So we're kind of assuming that one wasn't really seen. That was 1623. And then we'd have to go all the way back to March the 4th of 1226 to see that the conjunction was actually closer. It was easy to see. It was actually in the morning sky, 5:15 in the morning. This time shows. And though on the 19th of February 1961, the two planets were almost appear 0.14 degree apart west of the Sun, but they were still actually going to be 0.1 degree, less than 0.1 of a degree tomorrow. Jupiter and Saturn are in conjunction every 19.85 Earth years, as you mentioned. What you're actually watching during a Great Conjunction is Jupiter catching up on and overtaking a slower moving Saturn, as we can see what's been happening over the last few months here. So I see a lot of pictures out on the internet right now showing all these things, and then right at the bottom they show this great big cloud covering December 21st. The virtually identical conjunction to that one will occur on December the 21st, 22nd. Happened 796 years ago. That was the last time a Great Conjunction occurred that was as easy to see as this one in December is. Now, where to look for the Great Conjunction? We're going to see them, first of all, going to be about 1/10 of a degree apart. So the Moon is actually 0.5 of a degree, or half of a degree. So it's going to be 1/10 degree, so about 1/5 of the width of the Moon apart in the sky. So actually, you'll be able to take your pinky finger and stick it out, and you'll be able to cover both planets with your pinky finger. So this is how it will appear if you have a clear sky. About 45 minutes after sunset, you should look about 10 degrees above the south-southwest horizon to see Jupiter and Saturn shining almost as one. Almost as one. They will appear as an oblong object, not quite as one complete circle, but more like an oblong object as Jupiter and Saturn are so close together, but still not as one circular object. Where and when you would observe would be critical. You need to be an observing site that has a nice westward view without trees or buildings blocking the horizon. Ideally would be to get up on top of a hill somewhere looking down on top of the horizon or down towards the horizon, so you get the chance to view it for a longer period of time. More trees and obstacles that you have in your view, you're going to lose your view very quickly. And the objects through a telescope are not going to appear really crisp because they're going to be very low in the sky, so the atmosphere is very thick as we get closer to the horizon, so those reflected light rays that are actually coming from both planets have to penetrate our atmosphere, and they can sit there and shimmer a lot like looking into a bathtub type thing. So they're not going to be a really clear image. It's going to be bouncing around a bit, but you'll still be able to get the two of them in your eyepiece for sure. So here's basically the view you'd get with Jupiter and 4 of its moons, and Saturn and a few of its moons, Titan, especially Urea. Callisto, Io, Ganymede, and Europa are, of course, the 4 Galilean moons, so you get all of this in your eyepiece of your telescope at the same time. And that would be in a small telescope. You'd only need low-power eyepiece around 50 times to separate the two planets in the same field of view. So it'd be more like this. Now, this is the view through, say, 135 millimeter f2.8 lens. So you can see that they're just slightly oblong, but they are together. Here's what you'd get for a view through 10 by 50 binoculars. You can start to see that they do tend to separate a bit, but still hard to get any detail out of it. But you still have two of them in your eyepiece for sure. And here's a view through say a C8 telescope with a 14 millimeter eyepiece. So all of the moons of all the Galilean moons of Jupiter, Jupiter itself, and Saturn, and a few of its moons, all in your eyepiece, all at the same time. That's at 17:45 local time tomorrow night. And I guess it may be a long wait for the event of December 21st, 2040, but it's a short time in the cosmic scale till the next great conjunction this close. The good news is that Jupiter and Saturn will once again shine just 0.06 of a degree apart in the pre-dawn sky, while 43.5 degrees from the Sun in Sagittarius, so significantly higher up in a darker sky. The only bad news is that it's going to happen on March the 15th of 2080. So that's our next opportunity to see it. So let's all just be healthy and stick around, and we'll get a chance to see it.
Yeah.
2080. Yeah. Go ahead.
There was a little story that Brenda Baird wanted to share, just very, very short, if I might.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Brenda says, I have to tell you a story. When our daughter lived in Ontario, her dad got her to go out on the balcony and look up at the moon and asked her, can you see the moon? And they continued with this as she moved to both Edmonton and Como, BC. And the statement, can you see the moon, of course, now has a very special meaning to them. And they live now in Halifax.
Awesome.
Isn't that something? What a great story.
Great story.
Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Thank you very much for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we got a show, Paul.
I do.
I think I just got to try to find my closing notes here. Here we are. Okay. Well, that was a good night. We covered a lot of material there tonight, I think.
We did.
Okay, so in closing again, I guess, folks, our special thanks once again for your continued support. And thanks again to Rosanna, of course, for her continued contributions to our show. We really appreciate it, Rosanna. Happy holidays to you. And thanks as well to all the great folks at Astronomy Plus for sponsoring our Gearbox segment of our show. We really appreciate it. And remember, too, we do like getting your photos, so send them to SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to include them on our next broadcast. We're also looking for suggestions for topics for future shows, so if you have anything you would like to discuss with us on a future episode, please send your request to the same address, and at SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com, and we'll do our best to make it happen. We also ask that if you enjoyed the content here tonight and you've joined us from YouTube, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. And please let your family and friends know, too, that we are here every Sunday night at the same time to help educate you on the night sky. We'd also like to wish everybody out there happy holidays coming ahead this week. There is a lot of a talk about the Christmas star. I know that the conjunction here was referred to as the Christmas star, and that's because I guess it happened on the 21st, Christmas coming up on the 25th. And there is a story about the Christmas star, but I might share that on a later at a later time, either here on our Sunday night show for next week, or I may share it sometime through the week on another live feed. But we'll talk about that later on. But anyway, so for now, then, from Paul and an absent Mike and I, stay safe, everybody out there. We wish you all clear skies. We wish you happy holidays, and we hope to see you here again next week. And as we like to say here, guys, keep your scopes pointed up.
Point.
Thanks, everyone. Good night. Merry Christmas.